Hey everyone, it's Ivan, kitbatcher.com, out here with a probably long overdue review on my 6 ARC barrel by Proof Research from TAG Firearms. If you're just seeing this, a good while ago I ended up with this pretty awesome barrel. So TAG Firearms, totally on board with 6 ARC, like hey, this is a great round, let's do this. So they ended up actually going out and getting originally 100, I believe, proof barrels proof barrels made by Proof Research, carbon fiber, chambered in 6 ARC with the barrel extension from Q for the Minifix. At the time of them doing that, even though they were all in, there weren't bolts yet. So eventually, my buddies, some engineers over at Q, eventually finished making their bolts for 6 ARC. They originally came out with one for 224 Valkyrie and one for 5.56/300 Blackout. And with that said, I've had a ton of fun over the years with this gun. Originally getting this Minifix in 300 Blackout, 5.56 barrel eventually, and then not really interested in 224 Valkyrie, but I was like, man, 6.8 SPC, let's do this thing. So I actually ended up with a barrel with that, and the bolt for 224 Valkyrie shares the same bolt face, but I've definitely been interested in 6 ARC, but I wasn't able to because they did not have bolts. So fast forward, TAG was all in, ordered 100 barrels, and they were like, hey, if you build this, they will come. Q's like, all right, let's make some bolts. I ended up with one of the first batch of, I don't know, probably like 5 bolts or something like that. Took this thing and shot it a lot. Tons of fun. Aside from just fun trips to the range, things like that, I will say, quick aside, 6 ARC, tons of fun, especially in this little package. I ended up actually taking this setup and I went and shot the high angle rifle, I believe it was, down at Thunder Ranch in Oregon, and tons of fun, awesome class. When I was down there shooting that, disaster struck. I think it was on day 2. We were up doing some high angle stuff. It was their high angle rifle training, I guess it is. And I went to run this bolt. I'm like, man, this is not feeling right. Like, what's going on? And basically one of the teeth had actually broken on the bolt. And I was like, bummer, real bummer. Fortunately, brought a backup gun, ended up finishing, we were basically at the end of that day anyway. So that third and last day, shot my backup gun. But I was like, man, what is going on? So called up said friend over at Q and was like, hey man, this happened. He's like, what? Because like a personal affront basically, right? Like, hey, your work didn't work. I love him. Amazing guy. He immediately went and got some proof rounds, like 308 proof rounds. If you're unfamiliar, I want to say it's like 20% over like the max load for SAMI spec. And the idea is, they don't do much in the States, but you basically proof guns. So you put one of those proof rounds in, fire it, everything good, nothing blew up, cool. And then we're obviously good for 20% under that insanely high pressure and stuff like that. So basically turned down some rounds so that he could fire them with those bolts. So I'm guessing he basically turned down the back of the proof round so that he could then put that bolt into a full-size fix in 308 and shoot those proof rounds. I guess that's how he did it. Anyway, shot through the rest of the bolts with proof rounds. No, nothing. And again, it was kind of like a personal affront because he's like, man, like I way overbuilt that thing. Come to find out, honestly, it was just a bad batch. Like every other bolt did fine. For whatever reason, impurities in metal, whatever it may be, that bolt broke. So, bummer, but it happened. Then fast forward a little bit and I got a bolt that, I don't know if it was a production bolt, but it definitely wasn't the pre-production prototype. And threw that thing in here since then, shot it a bunch, and it's done amazing. Again, some wild random fluke. But aside from shooting that course down at Thunder Ranch, or most of it, which thing did amazing on, the other place I got to shoot this, which was a ton of fun, and I wasn't able to shoot, which is best. I did not shoot in the main match. I ended up actually shooting in skills division of the NRL Hunter series, one of their matches down in Utah. It was awesome. First day was terrible, but overall it was awesome. And I say it was terrible because it's really hard. And twofold why I wasn't able to actually shoot in the main match, which turned out to be great. One, caliber, you have to meet a power factor. 6 ARC does not meet it. And, well, I guess that was actually the only reason, which is great because I would have got crushed in that main match. Fortunately, in skills, people can coach you and help you out because basically a 4-minute par time, you have to go up. Every single stage is a blind stage. Once you get up there, you have to find your targets between this like little range fan, which is super hard. I got walked onto a number of them. Once you do that, get your firing solution, then you go to whatever the firing position is that's marked, either 1 to 4 firing positions, and you engage either 1 to 4 targets. So yeah, hard. But this thing was actually a ton of fun, and it absolutely made the weight requirement. In that competition, I want to say there's light division, which is 12 pounds and under, and heavy division, 16 pounds and under. Everything on your gun. And I want to say this right here, like sling, bipod, can, ARCA rail, scope, mount, all the things. I want to say it's around like 11 pounds. So definitely a light gun. And it was a ton of fun to shoot in that competition, honestly. I think probably one of the most impressive things was, I think I was holding like 4 mils left for wind because it was howling. But yeah, reached this thing out, I think 8 and 850, there were bears out there. And yeah, made this thing work. And tons of fun shooting that. And of course, since then, shot a number of just fun range days too, to include stretching this thing out at Rock Lake Rifle Range. Amazing facility. It is down kind of northeastern Washington, south of Cheney, and super cool range. Really fun, tons of steel, and being able to just get behind the gun and send rounds.
Impact on the head. Impact. Center mass. Off the right, bottom right. Impact. 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 Off the right, left right. Impact. Impact.
Which brings us to, how does this shoot? Is it a quarter MOA gun with this proof research barrel? So we'll start with, I'm not a quarter MOA shooter. I've definitely shot 3-round quarter MOA groups, probably on accident. 3-round groups are not real, but I'm definitely not a quarter MOA shooter. I did, however, go out and shoot a number of 5-shot groups at 100 yards with basically 2 kinds of ammo I could find, both Hornady. I want to say Hornady Black, and then I think like their ELD match or something like that, 105 and 108 grain respectively. But yeah, went, shot the best I could, a couple 5-shot groups, and here's what I got. Shooting the Hornady Black, 105 grain boat tail hollow point, first group coming in at 0.87 MOA. My second group with a flyer coming in at 1.61 MOA. If we get rid of that flyer, drops back down to about 1 MOA. Then switching over to some Hornady match, 108 grain ELD match. First group coming in at 1.27 MOA. My second group opening up a little bit to 1.40 MOA. Is that my best work? Probably not. A couple things. One, I was kind of getting impatient. So I was out there shooting on a cold day. Once this thing starts to heat up, it takes a while to cool off, and yeah, there was definitely some mirage. I'm sure a better shooter would absolutely shoot tighter groups. Having said that, while I love this gun and it's a ton of fun to shoot, not an easy gun to shoot. And it's not specifically this one. Like any lightweight gun, it's actually hard to shoot. You get behind a really heavy setup, AI or like any of the like PRS guns, like just heavy chassis guns, it's really easy to shoot. Like stays right there. You can sneeze while you're pulling the trigger. This is not forgiving. While heavy guns will basically mask your inadequacies as a shooter, light guns will absolutely amplify them. So yeah, I'm sure a better shooter could absolutely get better groups, but that's what I got out there that day with those two different loads. Which brings me to thoughts overall. Honestly, I think these carbon fiber barrels are awesome, and I think 6 ARC's awesome, so it's just rad. It's a ton of fun to shoot. You can get them through TAG Firearms. Something else that I do appreciate also is these obviously made for the Minifix. I think that one's made for the Fix too, but they are tapered, like the actual barrel itself, so you can, oh man, maybe it'll come off. You can actually use, which honestly I don't even know if Q makes them anymore. I wish they did because they're amazing. Personally, I hate direct thread cans because usually it's a square shoulder on a square shoulder, and that frankly never works out very well. Their direct thread cans go directly on their tapered barrels, or the taper for their barrels, which Proof is used, and they're awesome because they do not come undone unless you want them to come undone. But where I was going with that is you can get these over at TAG Firearms, and you can now actually buy from Q. You can buy the Minifix chambered in 6 ARC. I think they're using like steel barrels though, not that there isn't steel in here, but I don't think they're using carbon fiber barrels. If you want that, you can go over to TAG Firearms. But overall, it's a ton of fun. And as I mentioned, I actually really just enjoy shooting this gun because it's a ton of fun. And like this just accentuates that experience. Being able to go between different calibers, which is actually really easy, pretty straightforward. Number of screws, T25 Torx bit, and that's pretty much it. And then barrel nut wrench. But yeah, easy to swap between calibers, and just having other options for this platform. Great time, man. Really great time. Also enjoyed taking this out and shooting with my boys too. One, I can easily adjust it for their length of pull, and they enjoy shooting it. 6 ARC, not a bunch of recoil, pretty cool external ballistics. Yeah, good time all around. But if you're interested in any of this stuff, there'll be links down below and you can check it out. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.